Welcome back, and today we have a very special guest, a two-time United States Speedway champion, and we're live streaming shows tomorrow night. We have Crazy Chris in the Hive at 6 p.m., and the following night on Wednesday, we have Chris Firecracker. He's going to be in the Hive on Wednesday night. We have Crazy Chris on Tuesday, and the Firecracker on Wednesday. And this Saturday, we have Siggy, Dennis Segalos in the Hive. Definitely part 2 of the living legend. So if you go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell, you'll be notified of the future shows. But today, we have a really great rider. He is a two-time United States Speedway champion. And he won back-to-back United States Speedway championships in 2015 and 2016. Let me introduce to you the highly talented Aaron Fox. Aaron, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. So how's everything going for Aaron Fox?
It's good. Everything's steady right now. Personal life, still getting to work from home, which is good. And then riding here and there. Hopefully be riding here a lot more soon with another venue open in Bakersfield and then Paris. So 2 venues, each go once a month, and then waiting to see what happens at Costa Mesa and City of Industry and Auburn, probably in May or so, and possibly doing some New York races this summer, and then Colorado as well.
Wow, that's a full race schedule. That is really cool. So tell us about yourself. Like, what got you into racing Speedway, and what year was it that you actually started riding Speedway?
It was 2010, right before season started. Had a good friend that went to high school with, John Marquez. Probably rode for another couple of years after I got started with me. He's moved on to other things, but went up to El Mirage Dry Lake. He took me up there, hopped on one of his bikes, and the rest is history. Been riding every season since, so 10 years now.
So you started in 2010, and then you went ahead and won the 2015 and 2016 national championship. That's pretty amazing. I mean, you went from just nothing in 2000, from El Mirage as a rookie, to a couple years later, the national back-to-back United States. I mean, you must really have it. Was it natural, or did you have to develop yourself? Because that's pretty crazy.
I grew up racing motocross, so I'm no stranger to motorcycles. And then getting started at the age of 22 in Speedway, a little bit more mature, and thought about a lot what I was doing. And once I rode, at the Dry Lake and went up there with John and did that, I knew that's all I wanted to do. And I couldn't get it off my mind. It's what I thought about 24/7. And at that point on, there was IMS running on Fridays, Victorville Saturdays, Costa Mesa Saturdays, Auburn was on Fridays, City of Industry on Wednesdays. So there was a lot of racing going on, and I did as much as I could. I couldn't get it out of my system. It's all I thought about. So for the first 5 years before I had won nationals, it was just going out there and putting my best foot forward. And I think when you have a lot of drive and determination to do something, and you set a goal for yourself, you can make it happen.
So did you start off in D3 and D2, or did you just go straight to D1?
First race was at IMS on a Friday night in Division 3. Did that, and then the race the following night up in Victorville in Division 3. And then I think I raced maybe 5 or 6 Division 2 races at that point, and then found myself more of as a program filler in Division 1 in case someone didn't show. So it was about 2 or 3 months into it that I was in some Division 1 heats, and then the rest kind of just fell into place.
Well, once you got to Division 1, you were basically an established, rider and a future star. There was no putting you back in Division 2 or 3 no more. That was the end of that for Aaron Fox, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just being smooth on the bike. I always try to be mistake free, and I think promoters and coordinators at the track saw that I'm not going to hurt anyone. And so it made it easy, for them. And then, myself transitioning into that Division I program.
Oh, absolutely. When you go to Division I, they want you to be smooth as glass. They don't want you to hurt any of the top riders. And you must show that you're in control of that bike, that you are the master of the bike, that the bike is not the master of you.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bizarre sport. It's a bizarre feeling to ride a speedway bike, and a lot of it is natural ability, and I just got the hang of it real quick. So it did come quite natural.
Yeah, I raced John Marquez several times. He wore those blue and white leathers, and he was a good rider, John Marquez. And he was no. I think he took Bill Cody's number 41. Is that right?
Yeah, he started out, I think it's 241, and then once he got into the higher divisions, he was able to get 41, and then ran that for, I think he rode probably 5, 6, maybe 7 seasons in Division I, and had some success there. So yeah, great rider, great starter. It was fun riding with him at the time we were, and as I was getting into it, and wish he was still doing it.
Yeah, John I raced John many times, and he beat me many times, and he was good. And I did not like John Marquez because, I was fighting, especially Victorville. He was fast on that Victorville track, and I was really mad every time he beat me.
Yeah, he rode there a lot,
Yeah.
So again, in being that he made good starts, that's a big key here to doing well. You make starts, and sometimes you don't always have to be the quickest. I know I'm always, not. And if I can make some good starts, that helps tremendously.
Oh, absolutely. The starts is everything. And what are some of the people that inspired you or that kind of motivated you in Speedway? Like, is there any particular people that really got you kind of like wanting to keep progressing as a Speedway rider?
Can you ask that question again? You had kind of cut out there for a moment.
Oh, sorry. Who are some of the people that inspired you in Speedway? Can you tell us?
There's probably a long list here. I mean, to name, obviously you got the greats in the sport, guys I look up to, and with Hancock and Billy Hamill, and then the guys further back, obviously Penhall, Sagalos, the Moran brothers. There's a long history of good riders that that are inspirational, and then even guys that I ride with now, with the Romo brothers, Billy Gennaro, Brock, Luke. I look up to all these guys. So being able to ride with some of them and get some tips here and there from, especially working with Hancock before I had gone over to England was great.
Oh, anytime you can work with a master, Greg Hancock, I mean, that guy is a legend. And actually, we have a video from Greg Herbie Grin Hancock. He took of you practicing, I think it's at the Paris Speedway, and we all admire the accomplishments of Greg Hancock. And Greg Hancock, he admired your accomplishments. So let's go ahead and check out this video.
Comes Aaron Fox, Michael Rains, two of our next greats. USA Speedway waiting for the comeback here. I see 45 on his back.
That's pretty hard to impress Greg Hancock.
Yeah, I think that was 2000, towards the end of 2011, probably you know, in the winter or fall of 2011. So I hadn't been on the bike that long at that point, maybe a year and a half. It's funny looking at that video. The bike sounds so slow, and I feel like I was probably riding only half throttle, and it's bizarre to kind of see videos that far back and see how much I've progressed since then.
Well, you looked pretty good for a year and a half on a speedway bike. I think you're pretty much hauling ass on that track. So, I mean, you think it's slow, but it looked pretty fast to me.
Yeah, no, it's I feel like I'm twice as better now than then. And, you know, like I said, it's just the pace now, especially, I mean, you ride flat out full throttle, and it's a lot louder now than it was there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have all these up-and-coming great riders. You know, you have Becker and Nickel and the Romo brothers. You have all these really, and you're getting to be an older guy now. These guys are teenagers practically. So, you know, you have to really work extra hard to keep up with these young guns, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, they're younger and still hungry for it. Not to say that I'm not, but you know, full-time job and doing it for a hobby, it doesn't, not to say it's not as important, but, you know, I think I'm a little bit more careful about what I'm doing on track now. You know, whereas I think Brock and Luke, especially, they're doing it for a living and still making their way abroad and working their way up over there. So still getting to race those guys and compete, and still having an opportunity to, you know, to contend with them is awesome.
That is super great. That is really great. And yeah, you're doing awesome. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about you racing overseas. Do you remember racing in the British Premier League for the Edinboro Monarchs? And there was you actually won the league championship. I think it was your first year in 2014. Here you are with the Edinboro Monarchs, the team. And I guess you were one of the members of the Edinboro team. And there's the mascot. I don't know what the heck that thing is. That looks like a Care Bear or something. So
that's the Lion.
So tell us about your experience at Edinboro. We would like to know about that one.
Yeah, man, got some stories from that year. No, big learning curve when you make the jump to move abroad and you know, signed a deal winter before going over there with John Campbell and the Monarchs. So from that point on, got over there. It was tough. Definitely a culture shock. Obviously, weather, climate difference, food. Just a lot difference, having to adjust and prepare and, you know, figure everything out, find your resources, find where you're getting, you know, your parts. Edinburgh is pretty northern compared to most of the other tracks in England and Scotland there. So I had pretty long commute when we go for away matches against other teams, but a lot of fun. Had a great team, obviously. You know, with Sam and Craig and Justin, Derek, Stevie, Max, Rick. What a year. I think we won. There was 3 titles to be had in the Premier League. We won the Premier League Cup, the Knockout Cup, and the third one, I forget what it's called exactly. But yeah, all 3 championship titles that are available in the Premier League. We won them. We won all of those. And then you know, starting out the season, we didn't lose a match home and away for the first 24 meetings, if I recall, which is a record for the Premier League in history there. So that was pretty big. You know, and having a good group of guys like that definitely helped me, because I definitely didn't hit the ground running there for sure. It was tough. It's different. The pace is different. The intensity of the racing is a lot different. And, you know, you got to be on your game all the time, and you got to have good equipment. So you got to be prepared.
So how did you do personally? I mean, you're on this amazing team, and I know you're a good rider. I know that really brought your game up quite a bit to be racing for the Monarchs. But how was your particular racing doing when you first got there, and how was your progress on the Edinboro team?
Yeah, so starting out, obviously kind of a slow start. I was riding in the number 2 bid, which I came in on a 5-point average, which is given for first-time American riders. And being in the number 2 bid, my riding partner was Craig Cook. So obviously a well-established rider over there. And so starting off slow, scoring a few points here and there. Got used to the home track pretty quickly. It wasn't as big as some of the others, and it was pretty tight corner, so it suited my style pretty well. Where I struggled was kind of going on the away matches to other tracks and seeing a track for the first time. No practice, obviously, on there, and trying to figure out setups and everything. That was a huge adjustment. So that was the toughest part is going and seeing tracks for the first time and being expected to at least score 3 or 4 points. And that was the toughest thing for me. But I kept plugging away. I got really, really good at home. I think my best score was 9 plus a few bonus points there. There was one meeting I had against Ipswich, which is the team Gino rode at the time. And it was his team against ours at Edinburgh. And I was in the heat with him. It was me, him, Sam Masters, and Richie Worrell. And I had gate 4, and there was kind of a domino effect from gate 1. Gate 1 hit gate 2, gate 2 hit gate 3. As we were all going in the first corner, and I got a little bump, hit the air fence, went down, and my throttle actually cut through my suit, and I ripped a hole in the top of my thigh. And it was about – a nice hole's about maybe ½ an inch deep and lots of meat showing, and went to the hospital and got some stitches, which I thought should have been skin graft, but they did stitches, and that got infected, and I was fighting that, and I taping that up for following meetings, weeks later, and so that didn't help my performance much, but kept plugging away and got the hang of it. And I was scoring a few points at the away meetings and plugging away where I could. Definitely had the team helping with a top end good team that was scoring a lot of points, and we were still able to win matches. So that helped me a lot.
It's always nice to win when you're on a speedway team, and it's always bad to be the loser all the time. So that probably was helping your psyche to be a top team, winning all the championships, knowing that when you stepped in, a meet that you guys were really, you guys were expected in your minds that you're going to win, versus a losing team. When they walk into a meet, they're like, oh, we're going to lose again. So, there's a psyche there that you guys probably had right on Edinboro, because you guys had some swagger because you guys were good.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. The atmosphere in our pits was always good, always positive. It made it a lot of fun, and everyone always in a good mood. Everyone helping each other out. And all 7 riders, we all got along really good. We became good friends, and that's what helped big time. So if one rider wasn't doing good, the rest of the team was. We were still winning matches, and it was quite a buzz.
That's great. Yeah, when you win, nothing hurts, but when you lose, it sucks. So that's probably true.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but you got to take the good with some bad. So.
Yeah, you're going to lose sometimes, but it's nice to be on kind of a winning team that pretty much wins most of the matches. That helps. Yeah,
no, I couldn't ask for a better year, and especially a first year. Going over there and picking up three championships with a winning team is huge. So something I'll never forget.
Wow. So did you ride for other teams, and how many years did you race there in the British League? Was it just the 1 year, or did you ride for a few years?
No, I only went over there for the 1 year. my contract, I had a 1-year contract, and got the offer right after championship, right after we won the championships towards the end of that season in 2014, to come back for another year. But I was kind of 50-50 at the time, and it was tough. It was more tough than anything. And at that time, I didn't know if I saw myself becoming, an international rider where I'd be in Poland, Sweden, Denmark, in the bigger leagues, or perhaps the Grand Prix. I don't know if I didn't know if I had seen myself in a future there. So I didn't want to kind of become like an average British League rider. So, I think I was 26, 27 at the time, and I made the decision to come home, and get a steady job and be able to race here for fun and support American Speedway and be able to earn a living. I always wanted to own a home, before I was 30 years old, and I made that happen. So, I think about it sometimes what I could have done, but it also takes a lot of work. People don't really see what goes on behind the scenes and how much work goes into it and how much money is needed, towards equipment and how tough it can be. It's pretty grueling. So, like I said, I just didn't want to be an average, British League rider where I'm bouncing back between the Premier League and the Elite League. If you're going to do it, you want to kind of become more international. I guess you want to become more of an international rider in the sense you want to be in Poland, Denmark, Sweden, and giving yourself an opportunity at some Grand Prix qualifiers to get on the world stage. But that was kind of a long shot in my mind. So made the decision to come home. Got a great job now, make good money, and able to buy a house, and got married. So I can't complain.
That's awesome. I guess it was 2013. That was the year you got second place in the United States National before you went to Edinboro. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And then I guess you were in that national championship. I guess it was the last chance race, and then you were in it. And actually, well, let's go ahead and show that 2013 last chance race right now. Here we go.
Yeah, I took a whole wall out. Look at the bike. There, the bike's in the wall. The bike's in the dang wall. Damn.
Oh, shit, the bike's in the wall.
Aaron Fox, the rider that's down.
I hope he's alright. All these fucking guys are tough, bro. That was a fucking slam, bro. It's badass. My dad used to race with Sean back then. Yeah.
He's the rider, Aaron Fox, goes down on the racetrack.
Oh, right on, dude. Congrats. It's sick.
Wow, what happened there on that last chance race? Well, tell us about that.
That was actually 2013 main event. That's something many are going to remember for a long time. Main event with Billy Gennaro, Billy Hamill, and Sean McConnell, and I had gate 2, and I actually made a decent start out of 2, and had a wheel over Billy Gennaro, who started in gate 1. And came down the back straight, and I thought I had him cleared, and obviously, as we talked about Costa Mesa, everyone aiming for one line pretty much. So as we went into 3, I had thrown the bike sideways, and I think right about when I did that is when myself and Billy Gennaro made contact, straightened me up, and the bike kind of took off. Good thing I got off of it in time, because it had hit the wall, climbed up, and was hanging from the grandstands there momentarily. So I'm just glad I got off of the back of that thing in time.
That's a nightmare when that happens at Costa Mesa, because you have like a half a second, if not even a half a second, to react. So, I mean, if you were on that bike, you know, you might not be here today. That's
yeah,
bad.
there's no room for error there. I think once that bike was heading in the opposite direction of which I wanted it to, I just let it go. Nothing you can do at that point. So gave it away, and I just kind of slid into the wall. I was fine, just my right knee. I've had problems with my knees for the longest time. They should have been fixed a long time ago, but hit the wall with my knee, and it kind of froze up for 2 minutes. And I think at that point, I didn't feel anything anymore, and popped right up and was ready for a restart.
So that wasn't the Nationals. That was just a regular event, a main event of during the season, correct?
No, that was the 2013 Nationals main event.
Okay. So that was the main event? That was the main?
Yep.
Now, what happened after you got back up? You restarted the race, is that correct?
Yeah, obviously the bike that was hanging from the grandstands, that thing was pretty much junk. I think the only thing left good on it was the motor, the rear frame, and the rear wheel. So that was, and maybe a carburetor and some clutch parts. But had to have a backup bike pulled out that hadn't even been started on the night. It had a fresh tire, so it was hopping on that thing was tough, and being rattled after a crash like that. Was able to line back up, and I think it was myself, Hamill, Sean McConnell on the line, and I think Billy was put back on the penalty line, and then Hamill ended up getting the better of me on the start, and I settled for second, and took that which pretty much felt like a win for me, finishing a race like that on a spare bike in a national night. So it was a good way to end the night, I suppose.
That was incredible. I mean, you took that kind of hit. Your bike smashed. I mean, you bummed your leg out a little bit there, and you know, you got rattled. Anytime you crash going that fast, and like in the Nationals in a main event, I mean, that's really serious. And then you come back and you finish second in that Nationals. That's absolutely unbelievable. Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, I think maybe I might have hit my head. I may have been out of my mind once I popped back up and was ready to restart, because I still rode hard, and you know, coming from a crash like that, maybe I was a bit rattled and not thinking straight, but finished it and got second, and it was a great payout that night, so I can't complain.
How much money did you win for that second place finish?
If I recall, I think that one was around $3,500 for second place on the night.
Nice, very nice. That's a good. Seems like Brad Oxley has some good purse money there for the Nationals. Tell us about what he does on his Nationals.
Yeah, I think it was even the year prior, 2012 Nationals. I think he had got Monster Energy on board, and they were in on it on the night. And I think that night was a total purse of $22,000, maybe 23. And so it paid, I think, just over $6,000 to win. And so after that year into 2013, I can't remember if Monster sponsored that night or not, but nonetheless, I think he still had a very large purse, and it paid just about the same. And then again for second, like I was saying, it was about $3,500. So since then, you know, purse money's gotten a lot better. I think even on normal nights, it's good. at Costa Mesa on a Harley night, which usually standing room only, packed house. I think in 2015-16 they were paying $900, somewhere close to $1,000 to win on a Harley night. So that was nice. And same thing with Kelly over at Industry, pays some very good purses. So in 2015-16 I was winning a lot of main events that year, and I was able to put a lot of money back towards equipment and able to pocket some at the end of the season.
Well, you had a pretty good 2000. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, okay, sorry. You had a pretty good 2015 and 2016 season with a long list of accomplishments and a long list of expenses too. I'm sure you just said that. And so tell us what it was like winning 2 United States Speedway championships back to back. I mean, not too many guys that race Speedway can say that, like Bruce Penhall can say it. He did it in like 80 and 81, and Kelly Moran did it back in 83 or 84 and 85 or 83 and 84. I mean, not very many guys can say they've won back-to-back United States Speedway championships. So tell us more about that. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, obviously massive accomplishment there. And as you said, it's a long list of names on that trophy. So, to have my name stamped there twice is huge for me. So, no, it was awesome. 2015, that was the first year, back from England. So obviously you learn a lot being abroad, and you can bring that back home. And I was able to, have a couple successful seasons there, winning quite a bit. And, when you're winning a lot, making okay money and able to put that back into the bikes and having engines serviced and always fresh is definitely helpful. So, no, those were 2 good seasons for me. Winning it back to back like that is tough to do. And the first year I was on it, I felt like I was the quickest on the night, and I deserved that win for sure. 2016 was a bit different. I was actually not very good in the heats. I felt like I was slow. However, I was making starts, so I think I had enough points. I was top 3 after 5 rounds to be straight into the main event, along with Max and Gino, who were on virtually perfect scores. So I forget who had made it through on the last chance, but that made a 4-rider main event, and I had 3rd choice in the main. And Max and Gino chose gates 1 and 2. Up on gate 4 had a lot of dirt. It was probably 2-3 inches thick of dirt, and my mechanic at the time, Big Ray Schmidt, packed it down as hard as you can. So gate 4 was pretty much like Play-Doh, and I said, heck, I only won a couple of heats tonight. I didn't feel the quickest, but I made a hell of a start from gate 4, got over the top of everyone, and led all 4 laps to a win. So definitely wasn't the quickest on that night, but it comes down to a one-off final that I was able to make a start and win. So you take them how you can get them, and to have 2 nationals, like you said, is massive.
So you won that 2016 national from gate 4, correct? That was gate 4?
That's right.
Oh, awesome. That's, when I was riding, Greg Hancock was one of my tutors, and I had a problem in gate 4. And I said to Greg, Greg, I have a big problem in gate 4. What should I do? And he said, you just got to go for it, dude. Just ride, just give it all you got, because you got the cushion on the outside, like you said, and you just can go for it. And actually, I had a phobia, because every time I picked the balls out of the hat, I was in gate 4. I'm like, oh no, gate 4 again. And I watched some of my videos, and a lot of my main events were at Costa Mesa, or won from what gate? Gate 4 and stuff like that, and in my heats. So gate 4, if you really give it a lot of gas with a lot of dirt out there, you can get some traction, dude.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what happened there. Like I said, it was thick, and it I had Big Ray pack that down for me, and I don't think I had any wheel spin. It shot me out of the hole like a cannon. And Gate 4 can be tricky. You got to make a really good one to get over the top of everyone at Costa Mesa. You don't obviously have much room to get to the first corner ahead of everyone, and you don't want to be on the on the short end getting a nudge from someone and getting sent out wide. So you really have to make a good one, or you got to go for plan B, which is making a cutback, which you might find yourself 2 or 3 spots behind the leader at that point.
Yeah, in a national championship, if you try a hook back, I think you're pretty much done. You're not going to win.
Yeah.
You're not going to win. Do not try a hook back on Gate 4 on the national championship because they're too fast, and there's almost like a 1% chance you're going to win that national championship. So you have to go for it, and it's hard, like you said, to be in Gate 4 and to pass the guys on Gate 1 or 2 in a national championship. That's got to be really difficult, and you did that. That's congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, wasn't the quickest on the night. Max and Gino, I think they were the favored ones to win. They were quick, and looking at Gate 1 and 2 when they had chosen those, it was pretty firm and slick. So next best choice was 4 and had a lot of dirt. And like I said, I shot out of that and wasn't looking back. So that was huge.
That was great. I was looking on your profile because I was never a national champion. In my high school yearbook, I said, "What's your goals? To be a United States national champion?" And I never actually got there like you, so I admire you a lot. And now, if I was a national champion, which I was not, I have to admit it, I wish. But if I was a national champion like you, I would have like a photo album full of my championship photos. Like, here I am on the podium, it's really cool. And I would really I would love that. I would have all the pictures in the world of me winning a national championship. And then I go to your profile and there's nothing. And so I'm like, what the heck? This guy's won 2 national championships and he doesn't even care or whatever. So tell us why you don't even share that, because I would love to share that. And then you don't do that.
No, it's definitely not that I don't care. I believe me, it's it's huge for me. But no, I like to just let my writing do the talking, and having my name on a trophy like that, and being a national championship winner, you kind of have others promote for you. You get program cover shots. You're on the back of T-shirts. So, I don't like to kind of pat myself on the back. I don't like the attention all that much. So I just try to keep it low key, and I got a lot of pictures. Obviously, this one from the 2015 win here after the main event. I just keep that kind of personal.
Oh, that's cool. You're a better man than me, Aaron, so that's all I can say. That's cool. You're a good guy. And, when I was doing this show, a lot of people were emailing me and said, "Oh, you have Aaron Fox?" And a lot of people really like you because you're just a good, humble guy, and you're just a down-to-earth, good person. And a lot of people really like you for that. So keep that up. You really, people admire your behavior, your attitude. You have that really good Speedway mentality, like a lot of the young riders have today also. So congratulations on that one.
Yeah, thanks. You try to keep it as real as possible. A professional image goes a long way on and off the track. So I think that's a big part of my race character, and it helps sponsors and things like that. So I try to be the best role model I can be, for the younger guys, and anyone who is aspiring to do something with the sport. So if it's helpful for anyone else, and people can kind of take my lead and use that to better themselves, then I did my job.
Oh, you're definitely one to look up to. There's no doubt about that. I mean, a 2-time United States champion. I mean, everyone has to respect that. And yeah, I mean, you're just amazing. And besides winning the 2 United States championships on September 2nd, 2018, you won the U.S. Open at the Champion Speedway in Owego, New York, with Jason Bonsignor, and he was the promoter of that track. So tell us about your 2018 United States Speedway Open Championship win.
Yeah, that was a memorable one for sure. Another huge title, another feather in the hat for me. No, it was a good trip. Never been to New York before for Speedway actually, and going to see Owego and seeing how things are done over there was awesome. You know, I took my well, she was my girlfriend at the time. We're married now, but took her with me, and you know, it's a 2-day thing there on Labor Day weekend. They do first round there at Owego Saturday, and pretty much like I guess you can call it a qualifying night, in which I actually didn't win. I touched the tapes in one ride, and I think that hurt me a little bit in the points. So come to the main event. No, it was actually the main event is where I touched the tapes. I think I started from the penalty line, and I made a good comeback within 4 laps and was catching the leader, which was Jason Ramirez, and going into the last lap into turn 1. Overcooked it going into the corner, went down and took last place, or I should say 5th place on the night, but last in that main. So it kind of hurt me in the points, which carried over into Sunday. So I didn't really sleep all night Saturday night thinking about what I had to do and all the points that I had to make up, you know, to get myself in the main event the next night and you know, have a shot at winning. So no, I made it happen, went through the heat Sunday, and then come to the main event. It was actually a 4 or 5 round main event. So I think you started out at each gate one time, and all the riders rotated. And so that was tough. And you only get about a 4 to 5 minute break. So you do 4 laps, come in, refuel, go back out for heat 2, and so on and so forth. So that was a pretty grueling process there, and that made it kind of tough. But to be able to come out with a win after the 3rd heat, because I won the first 3, maybe 4 rounds it was, I didn't have to win the last one. So I think Don Holt got the best of me in that one. I ended up 2nd. So yeah, no, it was a pretty memorable trip for sure. I may have lucked out a bit there, because Friday, Gennaro was on his way out because he was supposed to race in the event as well. He got to Dallas and was on a layover, and there was a storm somewhere back east where he had to be turned around and sent back to Sacramento. So he ended up not making it. The result may have been different had he been there, but you know, we'll take a win when we can.
Hey, you got that right. I mean, a win is a win, and you know, it's in your pocket. So you never. So what was it like being in New York? And what's Jason like? I like Jason. He's a cool dude, and he was on the show. Jason Bonsignor. We like that guy. What's he like?
Jason's an awesome guy. Obviously works really hard and does a lot for the East Coast scene and for American Speedway in general. So being back there and getting to see the way he does things and see the way he works in his venue was awesome. We, you know, he actually built a great bike for me that helped me win. Didn't even have to do much to it when I got there. Our setup was pretty much spot on. Threw a clutch pack in, you know, and I threw a new tire on, and I was good to go. So it was awesome for him to do that for me and to have me out there. I think my favorite part of it was, or I guess second favorite part next to a win, was afterwards he throws this the all-night party. He's got this disco lamp, and the background on the south side of the track is a big grassy tree hill. And I think we partied all night, and you can see the disco lights on the hill, and yeah, had quite a few beers actually, and I think we probably partied until just about when the sun was coming up, and our flight was only 3 hours later. So once the sun came up, we had to get out of there pretty quickly. So no, Jason threw a good show and something I'll never forget. So I wasn't able to get out there just this last year, and I owe him a couple visits, and I'm trying to work something out with him right now to where I can get out there for maybe half a dozen races this year.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, Jason told me he had all these Speedway bikes. I forgot how many. It was like, 50 or something. He's got a lot of Speedway bikes, I guess. Did you see those?
Yeah, I guess you call him the Speedway hoarder. No, I didn't go to his house, but I hear stories of his garage and all the parts he's got and all the bikes. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So does he tell all the riders come to the track and then I provide all your bikes? Does he kind of provide, because it's far from California?
Well, I think he'd recommend people coming in early and getting to his house and putting their own bike together with the stuff he's got. However, for me, I didn't fly in until late Friday. And so I think last minute he put something together for me and brought it to the track for me, which I'm thankful for. And yeah, I think most guys get there early, go to his house, spend a day there. I think he's got probably 20 bikes lined out in his driveway, and you got half a dozen guys putting those together and prepping those and making sure everyone's good to go for the weekend.
That guy is the bomb. I mean, he's got 20 bikes waiting. That's cool. What a guy. Jason is just cool. And he loves Speedway, and he was a racer, I guess, and he won a few main events, and he just loves the sport, and he's building new tracks out there in Owego, New York, and he's just a good guy, Jason Bonsignor, and we really like that guy. So that's cool. He does that. And this year he did the United States Championship in 2020. And did you go to that race, or were you there?
Yeah, he made it what was called the U.S. Outlaw National Championship. There was a period of time there prior to that he worked on getting an AMA sanctioned event there because obviously with the COVID, we didn't run any AMA races here, and Dave did not have an AMA final at Auburn. And so Jason made a quick effort to try to host an AMA round, and I think it was only maybe 4 weeks or 5 weeks prior to that weekend, and after I guess long story short, between him and the AMA and others, it just didn't pan out, and so he made it known as the U.S. Outlaw National Championship, which I did not make it to. I think that one ended up being, I think Brock Nickel ended up winning that one.
Yeah, Brock won that. So you didn't ride the 2020 race? No, you weren't there?
No, I didn't end up going to that one.
Well, maybe you would have beat Brock.
Tough to say. He's going good right now, so yeah. No, who knows? Definitely having more contenders there would have made things interesting.
Yeah, that final was amazing. It was Brock and Billy the Kid, and I mean, they must have switched leads like 4 or 5 times in that main event, and it was just a crazy race. And Billy was actually very respectful. It was a championship race. And Billy gave Brock a little bit of room, which was really great because Billy could have actually stuffed Brock into the wall or something like that. But Billy was riding a clean race, and Brock also was riding a clean race. Both of them were riding hard and fast, and they were riding kind of gentlemen. They weren't stuffing each other in the wall. So, that was just a great race, Brock and Billy Gennaro, and Brock got the best of them at the end. But the lead change was like 4 or 5 times, which is really crazy in a national championship race when they switch like 4 or 5 lead changes in a 4 laps or something. That was pretty amazing. Yeah,
well, when the tracks prep correctly, that's the kind of racing that you can get. I think that the year I was there when I won in 2018. Man, I loved it. It was such a good track. It was nice and firm, smooth. the slicker side on the inside, and then halfway out, towards the wall, you had a pretty big berm of dirt. So there were 2 different line options, and you can use the dirt for passing opportunities, or you can use the inside and maybe throw a slider if you needed to. So when a track's prepared like that, you're going to see some good racing, especially guys of that caliber.
That's great. Jason knows how to build a track. He must have been taught by Brad Oxley. I always say Brad Oxley's been building speedway tracks since he was in diapers.
Yeah, good. The correct dirt and then a good base, go a long way. So those 2 guys do a very good job. Love riding their surfaces.
That's awesome. And Jason, it's really cool though when you see especially a championship race, like you said, where there's 2 lines. There's the pole, and then there's some really good cushion on the outside, and that just creates all this passing. And then it's better than just the pole. Like if you're on the pole, you win the race. It's nice to have 2 options when you race. Correct?
Yeah, I know, absolutely. And that's with the venues we have going now, which are Paris, and now we're going to have Bakersfield. But I think for the longest time now with Paris Raceway, been trying to get him to I'm not talking about Steve, but the actual track crew. I'm trying to get them to make the track to where it's prepped nice and smooth, firm on the inside, and to leave a good amount of dirt around the outside, so you build up a nice berm cushion. So that way you get 2 race lines, because when you're just playing follow leader around the curb, or around the pole, I should say, there's not much passing. So been working at that one at Paris, trying to get him to prep it a certain way for a while now, and it's kind of coming around. As you've seen probably 2 days ago, Saturday night for the AMA National Best Pairs. Great racetrack come down to the main event with the Rummel brothers, Brock and Luke. And I think Luke was in last for the first couple laps and switched to the outside line, found a little bit of material and made a run down the back straight and was able to pass both Max and Luke, to win the Best Pairs title.
Wow. That's because they had a good outside line, and that was, that makes the great racing when it's not just follow the leader. It's actually the fastest guy who wins the race, and then they won the Best Pairs. So congratulations, Brock and Luke, for winning that 2021 Best Pairs. That was good. How did you do in that race, Aaron?
Had a decent night, actually. Kind of bittersweet. Rode okay. Starting off cold in our first round was against my riding partner was Austin Navarro, and we were up against Max and Dylan, and I was in gate 1, and I remember the green light coming on, and I was looking at the tapes, and they were not coming up, and it was 4 or 5 seconds, and at that point I thought that the referee was having issues with the button or something. Tapes weren't going up, so I let off the throttle, and as soon as I did that, of course, the tapes come up. So I was caught sleeping on the start, and Max and Dylan had a heat advantage there over us, and so we really needed to have a heat advantage over the next challenge pairing of Sebastian and Russell Green, and we ended up tying that pairing on points after 4 rounds, and evidently bonus points took precedent over heat advantages, heat wins, or the amount of last places the pairing had. So that team, along with Max and Dylan, advanced to the semis, and Austin and I were done for the night. But there was a lot of takeaways from that. I think next year, me and Austin were talking about it, and we're probably try to pair up again then and see what we can't do and come in prepared next year.
Yeah. Oh, well, anytime you get Austin on your team, you got a good rider. And that guy is he's crazy good. Austin, he's a badass dude. I mean, he can really pitch that bike sideways, and he's fast. When Austin's on, nobody is going to beat that guy, correct?
Yeah, obviously lots of talent and fearless. Goes out there and when he's on, he's on. Really, I guess he's known as Mr. Entertainment. Fans love him, fan favorite most of the time, and especially when he's on it at Costa Mesa, you know, on such a small track, he's hanging off the bike. It's full sideways. He's wide open, never lets off the gas, and he goes for broke. Sometimes if he's not winning, he's crashing trying to win. So, yeah, the guy's fearless, fun to watch, and was actually quite fun to partner with him.
Oh, yeah, stick with Austin because he's just, I mean, that guy's got talent. You know, if Austin focuses his talent, his head wherever he wants to go, he can go anywhere. I mean, Austin could be a world champion if he wants to be a world champion, I believe. And, you know, he when he was a little boy, like he was like 10 years old or 9 years old, I used to race at Victorville, and Austin was a little mini rider at the time, a junior rider. And that guy was flying. I went up to Austin. I'm like, dude, you're fast. So Austin's been fast since he was a little like kid, you know, before a teenager. Austin was flying. That kid has always had it. He's good.
Yeah, a lot of natural ability, like I was saying, and just like the rest of these guys, you know, probably a little more than half a dozen of them: Max, Dylan, Brock, Luke, Gino, Austin. Few other young ones coming up now. You know, they can all, you know, they all have potential to do something big in Speedway if they want. So, you know, it's looking up for American Speedway riders.
Yeah, those guys all were starting at like age 9, 10, 11 years old. And, you know, now they're like 21, 22, 23, and they've had like 10 or, you know, 12 years of racing experience. They're seasoned veterans at age like 20, 21. And, you know, they're good, right? I mean, those guys are amazing.
Yeah, no, obviously really good. Lots of support, good equipment. So, you know, I personally wish both Brock and Luke were able to stay stateside and stay here racing. And, you know, again, I wish we were able to make a living doing it here, and riders were able to stay here and not have to go abroad, so we can have a better American Speedway scene here and better our program. I mean, what better to have, you know, our favorite sport in our own backyard rather than sending riders overseas to do that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, back in the old days, you know, that's exactly what happened, what you just said. Like Bill Cody, he raced in Australia, and he went ahead and blew like Ivan Majors and Barry Briggs away. And the promoters in Australia saw Bill Cody when he was young. And they said, Bill, you need to race here in Australia, because if you can beat like Ivan Major and like Barry Briggs, I think we can find a place on our team for you. And then Bill Cody said, like, how much do you pay? And then the promoter told him, and it wasn't enough money. And Bill Cody said, I can make more money at Costa Mesa than here in Australia. And my family's in Orange County. So I'm going to go back home, and I'm not going to stay in Australia. And so back in the 70s, early 70s, there was so much money being made at the Costa Mesa Speedway that it was hard. And also Mike Bass, the Mike Fast Bass, he was cleaning up. He was making like $1,000, $2,000 a night. And so he didn't want to go to England and all those. I have lots of friends. Hello from Europe. I have a lot of European friends watching the show, and they get mad and they say, why didn't Mike Bass race in Europe? And I say, why? Because he was making lots of money in California. So what you said was right. If we had that kind of money, the riders wouldn't really need to go to Europe because we have it at home.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I just, you know, I think about it all the time. I just wish Speedway was bigger here, and you know, you can make more money at it. Riders wanted to stay here, and even, you know, foreign riders wanted to come over here to race. So, you know, you had that kind of in the past, and in the 80s there was a couple guys that would come over. I think Phil Collins come over and ended up staying. You know, I just wish that was the case nowadays, and that way we have it in our own backyard, you know, and riders stay with their families and friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's best for everyone. And, you know, you could be near your family, your friends. You could race in front of your family. I think of guys like Scott Autry. I just did a blog on Scott Autry. I always want to get him on the show, but he's a shy guy. And Scott was just an incredible talent. And he started in like, was it 70? Gosh, what was that? 72 or something like that. And yeah, 72. And he was like he was like a rookie of the year. He had to be the rookie of the year. He went from like never riding a speedway bike to number 2 on the podium on the national championship on his rookie year. That's like incredible. And then he went ahead and went to England the next year. So basically all of Scott's career, he went to Europe and he was racing and he was doing really good. I mean, he was on the podium one year. He got 3rd place in the world final. And Scott Autry was just, I mean, he has fans all over the world and he was big. And then you bring Scott Autry home here to America and a lot of the people are like, who's Scott Autry? Because he never raced here in America pretty much, except for that rookie year but it makes you wonder how many United States championships that Scott would have won if he had stayed home. And, that was the 70s when Bast won 7 out of 10 national championships, and Scott Autry split, and he was actually ahead of Mike Bast on the podium that year in 72. Mike was 3rd, and Scott Autry was 2nd, and Rick Woods was 1st place on the podium in 72. But it makes you wonder, Scott Autry wasn't even known, and it's kind of sad because, he's from, Orange County, Huntington Beach area, and, nobody even knows him, and then they all know him in Europe. So it would have been nice if Scott Autry would have, could have raced at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, here, many stories of all those guys. Endless stories. So it's amazing that the history and being able to to hear all those things from all the different people here.
Yeah, I mean, and then people got mad at Bass for not riding in England, and he said, "I don't care. I'm getting rich riding in California." So, so what did you ride in Tennessee? Patrick Bedford, he had an event over there a couple 3 or 4 months ago in Tennessee. Did you get a chance to ride that event?
Yeah, it was a little exhibition event that Patrick put on. They're a little bit south of Nashville in a town called Shelbyville, so it was fun to go do that. Actually got a solid lineup of riders with Max, Dylan, Luke, Brock, Cords. There's a few others that came from California, couples from New York. It was an awesome little exhibition event. Kind of a facility similar to City of Industry, size-wise, and with the bleachers and that. So awesome event. Ended up being a good track, and everyone had fun. No one got hurt, and we were able to go to to the Nashville for the rest of the weekend and have some fun.
That sounds like fun. So did you fly there? You obviously didn't drive your car, did you?
No, I actually had someone opted to drive my van. I put four race bikes in the van, got a U-Haul trailer and put another 8 or 9 bikes in the trailer and sent it on its way. And the rest of us flew in a few days later. Nice.
So who paid for the gas on the vans for all the bikes? Was it just everybody split it or what?
Yeah, most everyone kind of pitched in and put some money towards that to pay for gas. So made it work, and and had no problems with that, other than the week after when there was, I believe, a race at Paris just 7 days after that, and the bikes needed to be back for some of the guys needed their stuff to go race Paris, and it didn't get back till Friday morning at 5 a.m. So I had a garage full of bikes and everyone coming at different times to pick up their stuff, and actually probably half a dozen guys here in the garage Saturday before Paris prepping their bikes and doing everything last minute. So other than that, no problems. It went well, and it was a lot of fun. I hope he has a lot more events in the future, and we can make things work and have a regular venue there.
Yeah, that's great. I saw that live stream. He had a live stream, and he had an announcer that never announced Speedway, so it was really fun watching this non-Speedway announcer announce you guys. I was like enjoying the whole thing.
Awesome.
It was fun. I was there. I had a front row seat on my computer during that race, that event, and it was good. And Patrick, for being a flat track guy, he does road ice racing and TT. I don't know if he has a lot of speedway, experience, but he did a pretty good job, I thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To get a rider lineup like that is tough, and he worked really hard to put on an event like that and have a good racing surface to be able to put on a show, which obviously as an exhibition needed to be safe and fun. So it was a good surface, and we got on with it, and I pretty sure that all the racing looked pretty good.
No, it was good. How did you do in that event? How many points did you get?
I think I scored 8 or 9 points throughout the heats, which transferred me into the semi. And then I think I took a third in the semi, which is one spot out of transfer, so I didn't make the main. So I think on that night I had both my race bikes there, and Billy Gennaro was using my bike number 2 of mine, and I think I was more worried about making sure that he got around and he got his stuff that he needed done first before mine. So I think he ended up getting second on the night to Luke. So all in all, a good night.
Yeah, so Luke took home that particular event. That's great. And I think Brock won the Owego, New York just before that, and the Outlaw Championship. And then Luke won the following race. So it was Brock and Luke. Again, Brock and Luke winning. That was cool. So who's your mechanic now? Is it Claudio? Is he still around? Is that your mechanic?
No, he's actually been a mechanic for Dylan Rummel for the past 3, maybe 4 years now. I've had Robert Mendoza, aka five-time Mexican national champion, who's been around in Speedway for probably about 40 years, majority of those years as a mechanic for Mike Faria. And so I got him as a primary mechanic, and then I've got a friend now that has been helping out quite a bit lately in the pits as well, Taylor Akins. So 2 guys on the bikes at each race event, and makes for a lot of fun.
Oh, you got some experience there. That is great. And who are some of your sponsors now when you're racing? You used to have a Kia, right? The car, but you don't have that anymore, or are they still around?
They're still my primary sponsor. Still ride for All-Star Kia San Bernardino. Had them for probably since 2011, maybe 2012 now. So going on just about a little over 8 years. As my primary sponsor, Jimmy Anderson there, Lucas Oil, Pavement Recycling Systems, and then of course my mom and dad always support me, my wife, and a few others I'm probably forgetting now. I probably gotta check on the logos panel, but couldn't do it without all of them, and they keep me going.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool. And now tell us about this. Now, what is this thing? Can you tell us about this thing here?
Yeah, it was I think it was before I got my first suit, and I think I was wearing motocross gear, and I was talking to friends about getting a suit, and they sent me that, and they said, I think you should just wear this, and go out there and look like a fool.
Well, I think you look like a Coca-Cola bottle or something like that. So I have one more crash. I think I was looking for some good video online, and all I could find is I found the Greg Hancock one, but you have some spectacular crashes. And I'm going to play this one, and tell us more about this in a minute, but we're going to play this right now.
You could
up. Burmeister's up. Dylan Rummel's still down. Well, he's up.
Yeah!
All 4 of them are up.
Were you? Did you crash that race? Were you in that race?
Yeah, so that was the 2018 last chance qualifier in the Nationals. So they only take one rider out of that transfers to the main event, and you got to win it. Obviously, you've seen there, I came out of gate 3 over the top of gates 1 and 2. I made a good one. I thought I got there first, and as we talked about earlier at Costa Mesa, everyone's kind of fighting for one spot there in one line, and you know, we all kind of come together, and all 4 of us went down. So unfortunately, I did not make the start on the restart from gate 3, and I think Luke Becker came from the outside to win that one and transfer on to the main event.
Nice. You take some really bad crashes, you know, in your career. Have you ever been really hurt bad? Because I know you're hurt, but I mean, where you can't race, because it seems like you always jump back on the bike and you compete, and that's pretty hard to do after, pretty serious fall. Have you ever had, crashes where you just say, I'm done for the night, I can't ride no more? But I haven't seen that from you.
Yeah, there's been a couple big ones, pretty much blown out both my knees. Hadn't got them fixed, kind of just been letting them do their own thing. So I probably should have had them fixed a long time ago. Broken collarbone twice now. I've got plates in here still, and then probably 2 concussions. Had some big ones. Obviously, the one I talked about earlier at Edinburgh, where I split my thigh open. That one put me out for about 2 weeks and stitched up. And then I had another big one in Berwick, England, against Berwick Bandits, where I got hit from behind. You can find that one on YouTube, and that was a big one. That was probably my worst one yet, and that's a massive track. And it was the last lap going into turns 3 and 4, and rider in second behind me didn't quite get his bike turned enough, and kind of T-boned me from behind, threw me over the high side, and next thing I know, I was on a stretcher in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and had to keep stopping and pull over, throw up, and yeah, that was a rough one. So had some big ones, throughout the last 10 years, but we're still here to fight and keep riding.
I forgot about that Edinboro crash when you're racing over there. I saw that on the internet, and that was really horrible. That was the worst. I mean, you were beat to hell on that thing. That was your worst crash, correct?
I would say so, just because it was so high speed, and after watching the video, obviously I didn't know what happened. I picked up a concussion on that one. Getting hit from behind like that when you're sideways looking to your right, and then getting thrown over the high side, slapped to the ground. I re-broke the collarbone, which was plated. So actually I still have a screw popping out of this, kind of poking out of the skin here from that concussion. I'd say probably that one was the worst one, in the sense that it was so high speed and so unexpected, and it ended up turning ugly. I got hit from my bike, I think from his bike, and then my teammate that was in third laid it down luckily, and he slid into me. So that one was rough.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That thing was, you just got totally, wiped out on that. That was not fun at all. That was really serious. And let's see, what was I going to say? So what do you think about that Bakersfield track that Steve Evans is going to be running in a couple weeks? Have you had a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I went up there once a few weeks back for a practice test session, and no, I'm more than stoked that there's another venue now. It's kind of probably a little bit bigger than what IMS was, but a little bit more banked. Not quite as much as Victorville, but it's got some good banking to it where it rides pretty fast. So they're working on it still and trying to trying to get that surface better. Probably bringing some more DG here soon. They're currently putting up a crash wall. So I think we saw an announcement today that they're going to say tomorrow if we're going to have a race there on the 20th or not. So once that venue's up and going, whether it's this month or next, we'll be racing there once a month, along with Paris once a month.
That's great. I mean, it's better than nothing for sure. And Steve Evans is like the only promoter that he's running the Speedway, because the other tracks are like government-owned tracks and stuff. And Steve Evans is smart, and he's doing the private tracks, and he's opening them up for the Speedway. And what do you think about Steve doing that?
No, it's awesome. I mean, the more Speedway venues, obviously, the better. So, where we, before that, we were only having Paris once a month, which, is tough because not many practice facilities around now with Milestone closing last year, and only getting to race Paris once a month doesn't really feed the appetite. So having an extra venue now is fantastic, and I'm glad he's working behind the scenes to make that happen.
That's awesome. I mean, Steve Evans went from being kind of like the lower promoter behind Oxley and Kelly and Dave, and now Steve Evans is like the #1 promoter in America. So that's really cool.
Yeah, no, lots of effort goes into it, and he's doing a good job. And you can see it with Paris getting better and better, lineups getting deeper and deeper. So now we just got to get some of the other NorCal guys down. Hopefully we can get Billy to come down and ride with us more. Maybe Bast, Yarrow, Heddens. No, he's doing a wonderful job. Like I said, having 2 venues now is awesome. So looking forward to what this year holds for him in both Paris and Bakersfield.
Yeah, Bakersfield would be cool. And it's really it's a pretty long, I mean, IMS, I used to race at IMS, and that was a long track, and it was a little dangerous. One of the guys named Ken Berry, he died, I guess, on that one. That was a dangerous track to me anyways, but this is a little longer, and it's a fast track, and it's actually Steve Evans, hit the nail on the head with this Bakersfield track, because we want to go ahead and develop some of these younger riders. We have a whole stack of them. We can name names. And riding on that Bakersfield track is really great because it gives these young riders that experience, that long track experience for Europe. If a lot of these guys have plans, they want to race in Europe. So it's like a grooming ground for, developing these riders for the long track, which is really great. You think so?
Yeah, with actually not just Bakersfield, but Paris as well. Obviously being a little bit bigger than Costa Mesa and City of Industry. So, no, it kind of bridges that gap between the small tracks and the bigger tracks that you got to go ride in, in the UK and further abroad. So definitely helps to have those. And then when you have guys that are based overseas each season that are coming back and riding, it makes everyone a lot better. So having those 2 tracks is going to excel, our scene here, and it's going to develop rider skills tremendously.
Oh, that's great. And we have so many of these up and coming young riders who really need that seat time. That's really important to have that seat time to keep developing. As you saw, a couple of days ago, we have really a tremendous core of young riders that really need to keep riding and just continue to race. And that's really great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, with these 2 tracks, I did see the other day as well that Kelly Inman was out in Elsinore with some equipment. So not sure exactly what's going on there, but hopefully another Speedway venue to come there. And, who knows what's going on with this whole COVID thing. I'm praying and fingers crossed that Costa Mesa and City of Industry and Auburn get the green light to go this season. So we'd have, along with Bakersfield and Paris, you'd have City of Industry, Auburn, Costa Mesa, and if this thing at Elsinore is shaping up to be what I think it is, man, it'd be awesome to have 5-6 venues here in California that we can have weekly shows at.
Wow, that would be just really incredible. And Elsinore is close to your house. I think you live in Menifee or something, so that's like 5 minutes away.
Yeah, not far from Menifee. I actually moved to Beaumont about 2 years ago now. I bought a house here in Beaumont, as it's right, probably dead center of where I work and where my wife works. She goes east to Palm Springs, Coachella Valley area, and I go west to Riverside.
Nice. Oh, very. So you're by Scott Reed, the muffler man over there in Beaumont, huh?
Yeah, he's not far. He's just up the hill in Cherry Valley, and he still has his muffler shop here down the road. Actually, probably within a mile from here.
Great. Does he do your mufflers for your truck or your car?
No, I haven't had that done yet. And he had quite a few pieces of pipes and silencers made for the Speedway bikes, but never got a chance to try one of those. But who knows? Maybe in the future.
Oh, very good. Yeah, he's really connected with Jason Scott, and he's actually a really good buddy, I guess, of Jason. They hang out and they really get along. Oh, we have a guest visitor here. We have a visitor in the hive. Let me see. I have a little friend here. Come here. She wants to say hi. Hi, everybody. This is Bebop, and she's our mascot. She's not a bumblebee, but she's very beautiful. She's got blue eyes too.
That's awesome.
I don't have a dog or cat. I have a bird. I'm a bird lover. So
right on.
Yeah, it's fun. Birds, when they go to the bathroom, it's not so bad and stuff. So let's see. What else were we going to talk about here, Aaron? So here is your old mechanic. Is it Claudio? Is that let's see, Marquez's dad?
Yeah, that's actually John's dad, Claudio. Which like I said earlier, he's been on the wrenches for Dylan Rummel the past 3 or 4 years, and he actually is currently in the transition of moving out of state. I think he bought a house in Boise, Idaho. So yeah, I think actually John is moved out there as well. So yeah.
Wow. And let's see, what race was this? Do you remember against Charlie the Edge? Do you remember that race?
Yeah, that looks like sometime in 2012 at IMS. Gosh, wish we still had that venue every Friday night. I mean, they ran from probably end of April to end of October. I think 31, 32 races throughout the season every Friday night. So missed that venue. Obviously great racetrack. You can see a little bit of material out there out wide, and trying to make a move on Charlie there. I don't think I got him, but that track for sure made for some good races.
Was that the track McConnell was promoting and Jason for a while? Was that the same one?
That's correct.
Oh, very good. The Pirate Speedway. Arty, matey. She's laughing. Every time I make a joke, this bird laughs, so it's kind of funny. So, awesome. Did you like that track at Paris? At IMS? Was that good?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It was a great shape, nice. It wasn't super large, but it was nice and round, and there was a lot of dirt put on it every Friday night. So, as we were talking about earlier, a great racetrack having 2 different lines. This one definitely had that by the end of the night. You had a nice groove on the inside, sometimes a blue groove, but then you got out wide, a nice little cushion, little berm there to use if you wanted to make an outside pass.
Neat. Yeah, Jason was on the show a while ago, and he was telling me that when they created the IMS raceway, the track, they went ahead and they took the original blueprints from back in the 70s, and Jason was recreating that particular racetrack. He wanted to make a replica of the original. That was cool.
Yeah, no, and I think he got pretty close. I mean, I seen pictures from bleachers, up top of bleachers of turns 1 and 2, looking north, and you can see the mountains in the background, the palm trees, and I think he got pretty close. So think they were able to run for maybe 6-7 years, and then had to pull the plug. So yeah, I wish that was still there. That's only maybe 15 minutes from my house, just down the 10 freeway. So if we were to have that every Friday night, I wouldn't have been mad.
No, that's good. And here's some more pictures of you riding. You're doing good. Where is this picture taken at?
That one looks like it's at Costa Mesa again in the year 2012. Yeah, that was probably one of those seasons where I was on the verge of making mains and got in there and maybe contending for some wins by the end of that season. So yeah, that was a fun one. Love that black suit.
I like that black suit. It's like one of your best suits, I think, because I like black a lot. It was nice. And where was this picture taken here?
That looks probably 2000. That's 2016 at City of Industry in one of the heat races early on in the night. Yeah, so City of Industry. Yeah, that is at the Grand there. So yeah, 2016. I think. Yeah, not sure what else to say about that one. It was one of the heats there ahead of time. So.
And this is you. Is this you here, or is that somebody else?
Yeah, that's 2011 at. No, that's actually. I'm sorry. That's 2013 at IMS. I remember this night. Threw on one of my old suits because the following night was the Nationals up in Ventura. This was the Friday night before. Threw on an old suit and actually used Stu Egley's bike. So that one wasn't even mine there, and I ended up winning that night from Gate 5 over, I think, Tim Gomez and Buck Blair. So, yeah, that was a good night. That's such a great racetrack. I mean, you can see how much dirt was on the track there.
Wow. See that bike of Stu Egley's? When I was there in 2012, Stu let me use that bike, that same bike that you were riding in 2000. And I was riding in the support at Costa Mesa, and there's 20 riders, and I hadn't ridden for like 5 years. And I got second place in the main. So that was actually pretty good. On that same bike you were riding the next year, I was riding that bike the year before. That was cool. Steve's, yeah, that bike is fast, right? That bike's pretty fast.
Yeah, he had an older Jawa in there, but that thing moved.
Yeah, it moved. I mean, it could. I would have won the main event, but I was so lazy. I was actually I didn't change the gear. At Costa Mesa, I have to always change the gear and go a little faster for the main event. But I was so happy to get in the main event. I just said, oh, forget it, you know. And I was running second place in the main event, and I needed that gear to pass that guy because I know I could have got him. But I gave it full throttle, and I couldn't because my gear was wrong. I couldn't get that guy because I was too lazy to change the gear for the main event. And that cost me, I believe, the main event. So,
yeah, setups are quite important. But you know, the littlest thing can make all the difference.
Yeah, I mean, before the race, I was like, oh well, I made the main event. Who cares? You know, maybe I'll win, maybe I won't. And during the race, I was saying to myself, oh, Brian, you're so stupid. You know, why didn't you change the setup? Why didn't you go with a little faster back sprocket? You would have, you know, you could have, because that guy, I was pinning it and I couldn't get him because my wheel was spinning. So it's very important to not be lazy as a racer like I was and change that gearing as a track, you know, progresses to get faster.
I hear you. Yeah, you always got to chase the track. And like I said, setups are crucial, and that can make all the difference between, you know, winning the main event or perhaps even fourth place. So,
yeah, I kicked myself to this day. I was so lazy, and I said, wait, you know, beforehand, you're just like, oh, well, and then during the race, you're like, God, you're so dumb. Why didn't you do that? And so anyways, that was on Stu's bike. It's a fast bike. I did a wheelie on Stu's bike. I won the semi that night, and I was pretty happy because I had my whole family there, like telling me, like, you're no good. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to lose. Why don't you go have a drink in the stands and quit racing and stuff? And they were like giving me all this like bad stuff. And I said, I'm going to race. And I told Jaylene, I said, Jaylene, put me on that program because I'm going to race. And she said, no, Brian, just go in the stands and like enjoy. Say to your, like, I used to race Speedway and I was a racer. And I said, no, I'm going to race. And so they're like, okay.
Well, you proved it wrong. Right on.
I wanted to race. I didn't want to go like sit in the stands and wear like a bumblebee jacket and say, you know, when I was younger, a few years ago, I was a Speedway rider. I said, no, I want to race. I don't want to watch the races, right?
Yeah.
A Speedway racer wants to race. He doesn't want to like talk. He wants to be out there like going for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it's no fun to watch the races if you're a Speedway rider.
Yeah, you definitely want to be out there.
Yeah, you do. What's this, Aaron? What is this flyer? This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an old hero cards that we had made when myself, John Marquez, and Brad Papalardo had a team there back in 2011. Those were actually produced by Chris Jones.
Nice.
So those are pretty cool. That's when we all had the same suits, new stuff there, new colors. You know, and those were all of our sponsors that we had for the team that year. And yeah, those were fun times.
Nice. Yeah, John Marquez, he was good. Do you have a baby? Is this your baby with you?
No, that's just a picture I ended up finding on the internet. I think it was sometime around Halloween, and you know, I said, heck, when I have a boy, this is how we're gonna dress for Halloween.
Very good. So you're thinking like when you have a family, you're gonna be like, I was thinking the baby would have like a Speedway uniform with like number 46 on the back or something.
No, I don't think my kids will be around any motorsports.
So are you going to have children, you know, in the future? Are you going to have a boy named Aaron Jr.?
You know, we'll see. You know, hopefully soon. Been married for, you know, some time now, a little over a year and a half, or almost 2 years now. But yeah, hopefully in the near future, you know, working on that now. So we'll see.
Nice. So if you have a boy, maybe you have all girls. Maybe you're like Cordy Milne. He had 5 daughters, and one of them was Sandra Hicks. But what if you have 5 daughters?
I might have to run.
You have to try having 6 kids, and then keep trying for the boy. You know.
Yeah. No way.
Oh no, you'll have a boy. You'll have a boy.
We'll see.
So if you have a boy, will you like have him go into motorcycles, you think?
Absolutely not.
No?
Nope.
Why is that? Is it just because you've seen too much?
You know, the risk of injury or worse. I don't want to go through prepping equipment again and doing all that. I've done that, you know, for the last 10 years. No, I'll put a set of golf clubs in their hands and let them rock and roll. That's you know, make some big money once they get on the PGA Tour.
There you go. Yeah, years ago I had a little boy, but he's not a little boy no more. He's not a boy, and like a little boy, and I took him out to Elsinore to ride a mini bike. He was only like 4 years old at the time. It was years ago, and I was nervous about it. And my ex-wife at the time, she was a wife. You know, she was nervous, and I had my little boy. He was riding it was one of my pitman. He had a bunch of motorcycles out in Elsinore. He lived there, and he rode this little like 50 or something, this little kid's bike. And I was thinking like, oh my gosh, you know, I have a son. Maybe I should like, you know, like teach him how to ride motorcycles. And I'm thinking, I don't know. And he got on this motorcycle and he actually rode wild off the track. And he went down this 2-meter, 6-foot ditch, and he crashed. He disappeared. And I went running into this ditch, and I pulled him out, and there was blood all over his face. He broke his nose, and blood was dripping. And I was like, I'm never going to let this kid ride a motorcycle again.
Yeah, see,
he never did.
I don't blame you.
I mean, I freaked out because, you know, like, you know, as a dad, you know, watching your kid like have blood all over him and stuff, it like freaks you out. Like it really like it traumatizes you because, You know, I never pushed him, and I never wanted him to ride really motorcycles.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm at, you know. So, you know, when I have kids, it's you know, who's to say I might still be riding at the, you know, during that time, but you know, I'll definitely get them into something else for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I like this picture of you. What the heck is this? You look how crossed up you are. This is an awesome picture.
Yeah, that's actually at Bakersfield for that test section we spoke about, or test practice day that we had a few weeks back. You know, so a handful of guys that went out there that day and got to ride that track, and no, awesome shot there. You know, love. That's my North versus South suit, which we had from a few years back when we went up in Auburn, and the six of us all had the same suit. So no, awesome photo. Cool, you know, one that I can frame or, you know, perhaps blown up and have a poster made out of it.
I mean, you're crossed up to the max. I think you can't cross up any more than what you've done there.
Yeah, but, you know, sometimes that's not always the quickest way around. I mean, you know, you want to kind of be turning, you know, as least amount as possible, and you want your wheels in line going straight and picking up more speed. So, that one there is a little bit for show, so makes for an awesome photo.
I like that picture. You know, hey, Aaron, you're practicing anyway, so have some fun. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. Is this you in this picture? Maybe it's the wrong. Is that you here on the left-hand side in that picture? Is that you?
Yeah, that's over at Wolverhampton I think that's 2012. Got the opportunity to ride the Wolverhampton Banks Olympic, and to my left there, that's Sudden Sam Malenko, which took part in the meeting as well. So, yeah, something I'll never forget, and being able to hang out with him there and you know, get some tips and learn a couple things from him is you know, is awesome. So, good times.
Wow. So you were like a guest rider for Wolverhampton? Is that what happened?
No, every year they have what's called the Banks Olympic Ride. It's a one-off individual meeting in which they run a format where the first round is a scratch round. Everyone starts from the tapes. Depending on how you finish, if you win a heat, in your next round, you start off the 30-yard line. If you get second, you start off the 20. If you get third, you start off the 10. And if you get last in your first scratch ride, you start off the tapes again. So very unique program, and they always get a stellar lineup for that. Race some pretty big names that night. I think I only scored maybe 1 or 2 points, and they may not have even been earned. So yeah, it was tough, but it was a great experience, and I think that was probably my second time over there at that point.
So that was at the Wolverhampton track that you rode there?
That's right.
Oh, awesome. And then you got to hang out with Sudden Sam Ermolenko. What was that like? He's kind of a tough guy, Sam. He was kind of a rough rider, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, definitely. But, you know, that's how you got to be sometimes. And that's why, you know, he's, you know, former world champion, I believe, year 93. So, you know, you don't become a world champion for being nice on the track. That's for sure. No, it's nice being able to hang out with him. Also there that night was Ricky Wells and Ryan Fisher that rode on that program as well. So 4 Americans in that meeting, and it was pretty cool to hang out with all those guys.
Nice. And what was your experience with Ricky Wells? Is he still riding now? And how's Ricky? Do you know anything about what he's doing nowadays?
Yeah, I think he's still riding. Obviously, with last season not having anything going in the UK for with COVID, I believe he's currently picked up an apprenticeship trade as being an electrician.
Nice.
While working probably part-time as an Amazon driver, you know, to maintain some income. So, yeah, he's still riding. I'm not sure who he's suited up with this year. So, hopefully he's fixed up and we see him here soon come time the British League season starts.
Oh, that's nice. My birds know you. Yeah, Ricky, I actually lived down the street from Ricky's mom, Trish, and where she worked over by the Midas Muffler Shop in Orange. And I used to hang out there all the time. And I I had a business at the time, and I should have had Ricky work for me. I didn't really. Ricky wanted to work for me in my construction business, so I'm happy he's got a trade. I would love to have taught Ricky my business, and so yeah, he was always hanging out, and so he was always just a good guy and very talented, and so he's still riding in the British League though. Ricky, he's still doing well, right?
Yeah, no, I believe he is, and I think for a while there he had a couple seasons in Poland, and I'm hoping he's fixed up, outside of the UK over there, maybe Sweden, maybe a ride in Sweden, and Poland again. So yeah, I think he's surely not done. Definitely got a lot left in the tank and got a lot to offer. So hoping to see him ride this coming season.
Well, he's got to be a good rider by now. I think Ricky was the youngest United States Speedway champion ever. I think it was, I forgot the year, but it was a few years ago. Do you remember that when Ricky won the national championship at Costa Mesa?
Yeah, I think that was in 08 or 09, just before I had started, but seen a lot of videos. And I think it was 08. He had signed for Coventry Bees in the Elite League, spent a season over there with them, and then had come back for the U.S. Nationals at Costa Mesa. And you can refer back to some YouTube videos, but him and Billy Gennaro had it out on the track that night. And I think he ended up, he won a main event national there. And the youngest one. I think that was 09. Yeah,
I think, if I remember right, because it was a few years ago since I watched that video, but Ricky actually was in like fourth or fifth, I guess fourth place or so. And then I think there was a crash during that race, the initial championship race, and then they had a restart. And then that was actually Ricky's lucky break, I believe, from my memory, is that Ricky would have probably never won the national championship, but there was, like I say, a crash. And then they did the restart, and then Ricky went ahead and, won, that race. But thank God for Ricky that they had the restart, because if they didn't, I think Ricky, would have been, if you're third or fourth in the first turn or whatever, good luck. And so, but Ricky, they had a restart, and Ricky won the restart. So that was cool.
Yeah, if I recall, there was a bit of drama there. So as you were saying, and maybe one or two, maybe even two or three restarts on that one. So always potential for some carnage in those main events. And like we were talking about earlier, it's a great show for the fans. Not always the riders, but that's the way it goes sometimes. It's all part of racing.
No, that's right. I was talking to Ricky years ago before he was famous or really good, and I was talking to his mom too, and his mom was telling me, Ricky, he has a goal. And I said, what's Ricky's goal? And Trish said, he has a goal of being the youngest United States Speedway champion ever. And I said, oh, that's a good goal. And Ricky accomplished that goal, which was really cool. I think to this day, Ricky Wells is the youngest Speedway champion in American history. Is that correct, do you think?
I don't think you're wrong. I think he was 17 when that happened, yeah.
I mean, 17 and winning a national championship, that's crazy.
Yeah, I might have to refer to, the couple of Speedway encyclopedias we have here of Ryan Evans or Sean Harmatuck.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, Ricky really wanted to win that national championship, and he was, I think the youngest rider was maybe Chris Manchester. He won it. I think it was Chris. I can't remember, but maybe been 18 years old. Manny won that championship when he was like 18, the kid. And then when Chris Manchester got older, the announcer said, like, Manny, Chris the kid, he's like 45 years old. He's like 40 years old. We can't call him the kid no more. So they said, Chris, the old man, Manchester. Oh. And, awesome. and Billy the kid, Gennaro, he's got that name too, and he's kind of getting up there in age.
Yeah, but he sure can ride like a young kid, I'll tell you what.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I think Billy Gennaro has the record for the most United States championships. Is that correct?
Yeah, 10 AMA titles. So, I think the next closest was 8 AMA titles, which was held by Greg for quite some time. So, To have 10, I don't think anyone will ever get close to that. I still have yet to win one, an AMA title that is. So still definitely would like to get one of those. So hoping in the future that we can get these venues to host a series of AMA rounds, and we can have a crack at it.
That would be great. Yeah, I was talking to Max Romo. Max was one of my first guests back several months ago, and Max was telling me that if he doesn't race in Europe this year or in England, he wants to stay home and he wants to compete for that AMA national championship. So that was really big on Max's mind. He wants to be number one on the AMA platter there. So I guess that's really big if you become AMA number one.
Yeah, no doubt. With Billy winning 10 of them, I'm not sure if they were consecutively or not. I think Hamill might have got in there once or twice, but no, to win that one, take one over on that series, especially if Billy's in that lineup, would be huge. So I don't think it's just Max. There's probably a good half a dozen of us that would like to do something like that.
Well, maybe Billy Gennaro will be winning the AMA National Championship when he's like Uncle Harlan Bast age. He's like 89 years old, and then Billy's won like 150 AMA number one championships.
I would never count that guy out. I'll tell you what. It's amazing when when you think you're close to him and you have him beat. He pulls something out of the bag and takes it. That extra length to race you and beat you. So he's got that refuse to lose attitude and to be in his position. That's what's sometimes needed. So no, it's in my eyes arguably one of the best American speedway riders in the past decade or 2 decades maybe. So it's huge. Definitely a talent.
I mean, anytime Gennaro, I watched these old pictures of Billy when he was like a really young guy. He's not that young now, but he was just smoking everybody when he was like a first-year speedway rider. I mean, Billy Gennaro, he's been on top of his game since like day one. I mean, this guy is really sensational, and he was sensational even like at his beginning days, his day 3 days, his day 2 days or whatever. I mean, that guy was like a star, I mean, he's always been a star, Gennaro. You're right. He's one of the best riders, of our day.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, that guy. And I think part of Billy's success, like you say, is just his will and his determination to win. Because when Billy Gennaro gets on that track, I mean, it's like his brain just clicks into another gear. And he does everything he can to win that race. I mean, he becomes possessed to want to win that race.
Yeah, and you don't get 10 AMA titles for being nice. So no, it's definitely a fan favorite. He's a joy to watch on track and fun to race. And the few times that I have been able to beat him has been huge. So no, it's good to have him. I wish he was racing more down south here at Paris and with some of the races we have going on with during these COVID times, but who knows? Maybe we'll see him down here more.
Yeah. Well, how did you beat Billy Gennaro? Because he's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah, I think I don't think I've ever won a main event over him. Maybe I can probably think of maybe a dozen half a dozen heats that I've beat him. Those have all come from good starts and being able to kind of get away early because, if he's anywhere close, he's going to be pushing you all the way to the end.
No, I agree. So who do you think is I know this is a bad question, but who do you think is like one of the best young riders nowadays? I mean, that's kind of probably a bad question to a guy who's racing, but who do you think is like one of the best younger riders today in Speedway?
Here in the in the scene here in the American program, it's a toss-up. Obviously, when Speedway is kind of a confidence sport, so when you kind of get the ball rolling and you get that confidence going, you get a couple wins. That momentum goes a long way. So obviously, right now Max is in form. Won the American final back in December over a stacked lineup. So He's got some amazing equipment under him. He's got engines that are being done by the number one, arguably the number one tuner in the world. So, with his mechanic and his team behind him and the support he's got, he's going real well right now. Awfully quick and hard to beat. But that's not to say, others can't do that right now also, because we've also seen his younger brother in form at times, winning a handful of races consecutively. Brock's got a lot of speed. He can be on top and in form. Not saying he's not, but then you got Luke. Luke's going good. Gino. So yeah, it's tough. And like I said, when you get a little bit of momentum going, you can do good things. And I think that's what you kind of see here. So right now, at the moment, Max is probably the quickest, and it makes the rest of us better.
That's great. Yeah, Max is really he's kind of like, I don't know, he's just he went over there, I guess on your team over there, was it the Monarchs? Max rode for a year, and he had kind of a bad year, and he came back, but he wasn't really ready, I think, for the whole thing. He wasn't prepared, but I think next time that Max goes back to Europe, I think he's going to really be a cooker. That guy's going to be on the game when he goes back. Do you agree?
No, he's definitely going to be good when he goes back. But going back to your comment about his first season over there, I don't think it was a matter of him not being ready. I thought he was more than ready at that time. He was more than capable, and he showed it. He had quite a few good meetings early on in his season with the Monarchs where he scored good points, and he was up in the main body of the team. So what happens over there that many don't understand over here is that there's a numbers game, and averages play a huge part. And with his average being where it was at the time, there was room for the team to get a higher average rider in his spot. And when teams have an opportunity to do that, they're gonna take that advantage of that, and they're gonna cut someone from the team and replace someone who's got a little bit higher average that is capable of scoring more points. And unfortunately, Max got that crappy end of the stick. So he had come home that year, I think maybe halfway through the season, but it wasn't because he wasn't ready by any means. It's just it's a numbers game over there. It depends on averages, and once and if he decides to go back, I think he's going to light it up.
He definitely will light it up. And if there's promoters out there looking for a top non-signed American rider, Max Romo, and Dylan might be one of the guys too. I mean, that guy can ride like lightning. So both of those guys. Max actually has a better team. He has a really strong team behind him. Like you said, he has the best equipment, the best bikes. And I think that if he gets signed by the British League or whatever league this next year, if they have racing, I think he's definitely going to light it up. You're going to see Max Romo just, set the Speedway world on fire.
Yeah, you're most certainly right.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about, Aaron?
Yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit. Frankly, I can go on and on, but I don't want to wear anyone out that's watching this. So we'll cut it a little bit short here and call it a night.
No, we did good. We went almost 2 hours, so we done really good. So that was good. And, just learning more about one last question, what do you think makes a Speedway champion tick? Like what you said, you just have to be really mentally tough, and you have to really be focused. And before we close, what are some of your secrets as far as mentally to be a Speedway champion? What is some of the things that you think in your mind? Because obviously you have that.
Yeah, one of the main things is determination, and then having that focus. When you're in the zone and you're focused and everything's going well and everything's on point, you put yourself in the position and give yourself the opportunity to win. That has a lot to do with it. And then one of the best pointers I think I've ever gotten was from Billy Hamill, I think on one of the weekly shows at City of Industry, it was like my first main event. And we were walking up to, to the start line before we got bumped off. And he says, he says, you can do this. All you got to do is believe in yourself, believe in yourself, get to that first corner first. Nothing else matters at that point. And, that went a long ways. I always refer back to that in my mind to, to help me in that moment. And when you're focused, you're in the zone, and you've got everything right as far as setup, bikes on point. You can make it happen.
So you believe that winning championships and racing speedway in general is a mental game, correct?
Yeah, a lot more than anything else. I think when your head's right. I mean, I think I'm the perfect example of what we're talking about here is I'm a confidence rider, and the more I ride and the more I've more comfortable I am on the bike, the more time I've had on the bike, the more dialed in on a setup I am, and the more in sync I am, the better I do. I don't come, I can't ride once a month and come out guns blazing, in the first heat of a race. I have to, figure things out and get things exactly how I want them to be able to ride the bike the way I want while being safe around others.
Exactly. Oh, that's cool. I always like to ask that question because people who have won championships, they have that mindset, obviously, because not everyone can win a United States championship, an AMA championship, a world championship. I mean, it's difficult. You have a lot of good riders when you're competing at that level, correct?
Oh, that's exactly it. I mean, it's a stacked lineup. It's intense. That day, throughout that day, prior to the event, you're kind of just zoned out. You don't know. You're trying not to work yourself up, psych yourself out. You're not trying to create scenarios in your head. You just want to get there and get that suit on, get your helmet on, and just get out there and do it. And it, if you're in the position to do so, you can strike. But it's tough to explain. But nonetheless, it's nice to be able to have done that twice now, and then to pick up a U.S. Open title, and then obviously the 3 championships that I've got in the British League. So I'm proud of what I've done, and I'm definitely not done yet. I'd like to win some more titles, and as we talked about earlier, I'm aiming for possibly an AMA title in the future. So we'll give her hell. We're definitely not done anytime soon. So we're ready to rock and roll.
That's awesome. I'm sure you're going to do great. How old are you now? You're like early 30s or 32 or something?
Yeah, 32 years old now. In a couple weeks, I'll be 33. But in my mind, I still feel like I'm 22. I haven't been the best as far as, always trying to stay in shape, having a full-time desk job for work. Not to make any excuses. I just need to work harder. I got to be a lot more fit and prepared because, when riders are getting as good as they are now, and the level of riding that everyone else is at now, and the pace, you got to be fit physically and ready to compete because it's tough. It's not just like showing up at Costa Mesa for a quick 45 seconds on a track 4 times. So when you're riding Paris and setting the bike up really aggressive, you got to be able to hang on to her and definitely eating right and trying to.
I was talking to Max, and he was telling me.
You there? Did I lose you?
Sorry about that. We had a brownout and we went ahead and lost Aaron. We actually were done with our program. So we want to thank Aaron Fox for the show. And, you know, he's just an amazing writer. And we had a brownout, the lovely, wonderful world of the internet. We experienced that one, so we apologize. But we just want to thank Mr. Aaron Fox for the show tonight. We were pretty much done anyway, so it didn't matter. But we have sometimes technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi, and we had that. So thanks, Aaron, for that wonderful show. And Aaron's just a great writer. And this guy's good. Aaron Fox, two-time United States Speedway champion, back-to-back. And this guy is just an amazing writer. And we had some conversations from Patrick Bedford. He said Aaron was a big help in our Tennessee event. And what else we had? We had a bunch of people. Rocco Scopoletti. He said that Aaron was the coolest dude in the sport. And we have Paul Flanders, the brother of Bruce Flanders. We're going to have a show on Bruce tomorrow. He said before Aaron raced Speedway, he did other things. Did he do other things besides racing? Yeah, I think he did different events. And then Dylan Romo was checking in. Yay, let's go Foxtrot. And then Foxtrot. And then Max was calling Aaron Foxy Bingo. And Sonny from Denmark was on the Hive. Sonny from Denmark. He's one of our really good listeners. And we appreciate Sonny so much. He said, what is your favorite track in England? Oh, we forgot to ask. Aaron about that. And so anyways, and then Glenn John, he said, go Bumblebee, go Bumblebee, Glenn John in Manila. Hi, Glenn. And then we had Patrick Bedford in Tennessee. He went ahead and said it's such a big help Aaron is. Aaron's a great guy. I don't doubt that. And he's just Aaron is a good guy. I mean, he's really an amazing kind of personality. And then Patrick said that one day it'd be good to see national rounds outside of California. Yeah, Patrick, run a national in Tennessee. And Eugene said, hi, Brian. Hi, Eugene. So we had fun tonight in the Hive. We had a good show with Aaron Fox, and we like that because we like to see what makes a champion tick, and we like to see exactly, what makes a guy win two United States championships, because not very many people won back-to-back United States Speedway championships. Like I say, Kelly Moran, Bruce Penhall, and then you have Aaron Fox. So he's a good rider. And that was a fun show we had tonight. And we sure appreciate you joining us, being in the Hive. We had a good time, and we had Bebop in the Hive. We had Pretty Girl. She's sleeping. It's her bedtime. And so thank you so much for joining us. And tomorrow night, we have Crazy Chris Ackerman. Do you know Crazy Chris? He's really crazy. And we're going to have a Bruce Flanders Hawaiian t-shirt night tomorrow night. So it's going to be really fun. And then the next night, we have Chris Kerr. And Chris Kerr is the firecracker. He's a really fast rider. He was racing the other night, and he took a couple guys down as heat race. He took Luke and Brock, and he beat those guys in a race. It wasn't the main event. It wasn't the main, but he did well. And Chris Kerr has been a good rider like forever. I mean, he was born, champion style. He raced in England and Europe, and Chris Kerr is a firecracker, that's for sure. And then we have Siggy in the Hive coming on Saturday at 11 a.m. You're not going to want to miss Dennis Segalos Part 2. We have a good time with Dennis, and he's just a really great guy. And we're going to talk a lot of Speedway, watch a lot of videos. It's going to be really cool with Dennis Segalos in the Hive. And we have Sonny Nutter, sliding Sonny Nutter. We're going to have him in the Hive, talk about the old days, the revival of Speedway in 1968 and 1969 in America. That's going to be fun. Sonny Nutter was like a team captain. He was the leader. He's a tough guy. And it's going to be fun talking with Sonny Nutter, because he was just a classic, a legend. So we're going to have him in the Hive. And we have a future show with the Fox, Bruce Penhall. We had the Fox tonight, Aaron Fox. So we have all these Foxy guys. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to have some really good riders. Hopefully we can get a lot of more young riders coming on the show. We have a good time. So we just want to thank you so much for supporting the channel, for liking and subscribing and ringing the bell, because we have so many shows coming up. You want to be notified. So please subscribe to the Brian Breed channel and ring that bell especially, so that way you won't miss a show, because we have a lot of shows coming up in the Beehive. So thank you so much, and stay on two wheels, don't crash, and always be a good rider, and we will see you next race. So thank you so much from the Bumblebee Hive, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. California time, with Crazy Chris Ackerman, the voice, the announcer of the Paris Speedway. It's going to be fun. Crazy Chris is a crazy dude. You're not going to want to miss that. So thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow in the Beehive.